Hey, it's Topher right here on Geek Public Radio. How are you doing? It's been a wonderful, busy week. We didn't have a show last week because I was not feeling the best. We postponed it, and then it came time to do another show.
Here we are.
Just coming off of a 30-hour gaming challenge for blood cancer awareness, trying to raise money for the leukemia or the lymphoma and leukemia society, and got that done. If you check out our Facebook page, you can see the donation. Donations will be live all semester. September. I said summer semester.
It wouldn't be a live show if you didn't.
Right
at the beginning.
But what are we talking about today? We're going to be talking about the Rings of Power, House of the Dragon, a new Batman movie, games, and a lot more right here on Geek Public Radio.
You're listening to the GPR podcast, where two old guys, talk about new games, movies, most things geeky, and generally be old in front of your eyes. Not cool. Now, here's Topher and Crazy Chris being all old.
Yes, we are being all old live right now.
We are old. We are old and live.
And lively old.
That's right. We are a lively elder of oldness. Whatever. Rings of Power. All right, everybody. As he stated, he is Topher. I am Crazy Chris. You are our lovely geek family. We are so glad that you decided to take your Friday evening and join us. If you would like to support us further, we would appreciate the ever-living crap out of the fact that you smash the like button, you subscribe to the channel, you share it with your friends. Together, we can overthrow the evil YouTube hegemony. Yeah. Hegonomy. I know how to pronounce it. I just think it's funny to say hegonomy. Anyways, so if you guys could do that for us, man, we'd super appreciate it. You can find all of our socials above me. Boop, boop. And then down below, of course, is where you're going to find the main page. If you guys would like to join us on Twitch, make sure you subscribe there too. Like, share, tell your friends, the whole nine. That is the way that we succeed. That is the way we can continue to bring you guys all the content that we do. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. I hope you got a great weekend planned. And if it's just sitting inside and chilling all the time and playing some video games and rewatching old episodes of your favorite Geek Public Radio podcast, then, of course, we welcome you to do that as well. But as he said, we've got an incredible show in store for you guys. I know I say that a lot, and oftentimes it's disappointing. I do apologize about that. But if you could just stick around a couple of minutes, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time, it actually helps us to get our count up. And on top of that, the subject is likely to change because, as is mentioned at the very beginning of the show with the lovely disembodied voice that is not my own, we are old. We will forget about what we're talking about. We will go off on tangents that have nothing to do with the original subject matter. So you don't like the subject, treat it like the weather, stick around. It will change, I promise. But let's get started right now. I'm going to talk just a little bit about your personal security. Because if you don't take it seriously, I promise you somebody out there will take it seriously. And not only will they take it seriously, they will take from you all of your personal protected information, and they will sell it to people on the internet for a tidy little profit. But the way you can protect yourself is the way that we protect ourselves right here on Geek Public Radio. And that is, of course, with ExpressVPN. You've heard me mention it before, but I'm going to mention it again. ExpressVPN is the only VPN that is guaranteed to not sell your data. They do not collect information about you. They do not keep the record of that stuff. You guys can change your country of origin code and go watch movies in like the UK or Germany without leaving the comfort of your bedroom or your couch. It's absolutely amazing. Things like Netflix, Hulu, all of that have a country origin code. And if you change it, you can watch different movies. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. And personally, I don't really have a lot of protected information I care about people having, but it does help, and it does give me that extra sense of security. And on top of that, VPN or ExpressVPN is extremely fast. It doesn't slow down my internet provider at all, and I'm able to surf the web with impunity. I'm able to download all the things that I want to download without having to worry about those pesky viruses getting into my computer. And believe me, we work for a media company. We have to download a lot of stuff. So protect yourself with the things that we use. ExpressVPN.com/GeekPublicRadio. If you sign up right now, you get 3 free months. That's ExpressVPN.com/GeekPublicRadio. Get your 3 free months today. Wow, I think that's the best I've ever delivered that. Incredible, if I don't say so myself, which I did. So I did say so myself. Anyways, we're going to talk a little bit about this new game that I just discovered not terribly long ago. If I can pull the stupid thing back up. We're always prepared around here, guys. It's always a fun time. There we go. So, new game that came out, it actually reminded me a little bit of my favorite style and genre of game, and that's, of course, JRPGs. You guys, if you are fans of the show, if you are longtime listeners, you do know those are my favorite. So anything that reminds me of a better time and a better gaming life. This game in particular is called Alterium Shift. It's actually pretty neat. It's got like that classic JRPG style, but it's like in the 24, 16-bit, maybe 32-bit style. It's available on the PC. Take control of 3 different heroes in a war-torn realm, and you guys are all trying to level up, get all the cool stuff, kill the monsters, get the gold, get the items, beat the crap out of the game. There are 3 different paths that you can take depending on the hero you choose, man. So it's actually kind of interesting the way that it presents itself. And of course, just like every other adventure ever in the history of ever, you start off with the war hero becoming the teacher. He's too old to take up the sword, and in his place, he decides to take 3 young heroes under his wing and train them up. It does look pretty interesting. There's a trailer online if you guys want to check it out. It's called Alterium Shift. This is from Nintendo Life, specifically this article. It is pretty cool looking. I like the graphic style. I like the combat system. It is a classic turn-based RPG, so none of that live action stuff that you get from like the newer games and things like that. These things are kind of hurting my ears. I don't know why. It keeps popping in and out. Anyways, but yeah, it's Alterium Shift. It's turn-based combat. It's got a visible turn order, so you can actually see when your attacks are like whoever's next is going to be coming up, things like that. And of course, like classic JRPGs, man, they got exploitable weaknesses for monsters. They got like a whole cast of characters, rich story, the whole 9, man. It's an interesting game. You can absolutely find that online right now. It's called Alterium Shift. So if you guys want to check that out, like to bring you guys new games, new stuff that you may not have heard of. If you're a hardcore gamer and you watch things like the Guerrilla Collective Showcase, you might have already seen it. That's good for you. But some of our listeners are more casual. So that's for you guys. Alterium Shift. Go check it out. Available online. So I have a Topher behind me. I'm not sure what's happening right now. Now I'm really upset because he gets to leave the show and I do not. So I guess I get to carry the banner all by myself. Just call me Bruce because I'm carrying this banner. Sorry, I'll let you guys settle in your cricket jokes. Chat room is open right now. If you guys would like to join us, we do our best to address each and every person that comes into our chat room. If you guys have any questions about the things that we're talking about or just some comments, if we like them, we'll read them online. I'll read them on the air. Then we will respond in kind. Internet's kind of been ablaze lately. Obviously, with the passing of Queen Elizabeth yesterday, things have been a kind of hectic. Our friends over across the pond hope they're doing okay. And of course, some of you guys may have watched Sunday Night Madness in the past. Tenacious T is super rocked with the Queen's passing. King Charles takes over. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what that means for England, but I do know that a lot of respect out there for all of my my English friends, for all of my United Kingdomers, my English friends. I'm just going to go with English friends. It just sounds better. Respect for you guys. We mourn your loss, and we hope you guys are doing okay out there. But long live the Queen, and long live the King. God save the Queen because she passed. I don't know. I'm not British. T's not here. I don't know what to do. All right, guys. So, on top of the Queen's passing, the internet has been talking about some hot button issues lately. Main one that's being discussed and thrown around everywhere at the moment is, of course, I'm talking about Rings of Power coming out and to some, let's just call them, what is happening right now? Okay. Jesus. All right. So we're just having the absolute best time on this show. To you that we're all professionals. We do this for a living. This is what we do. We just do our thing. Anyways, so Rings of Power has come out to some mixed reviews. A lot of people talking about different things, and it seems to be a small corner of the internet that seems to be obsessed with the race of some of the characters in the show. I've watched it. It's not really bothersome to me. I'm not really sure what all the hubbub is about. I have some complaints about the show. I'm a huge Tolkien fan, and the fact that it seems to stray pretty hard from his original works and from Middle-earth in general, I have some questions about. There's some plot development issues. There's some character issues, but I mean, we'll get into all that stuff. It's definitely interesting, to say the least. the story seems to be almost like they're trying to pack everything into a single episode, which is my general gripe. It almost feels sitcom-y, in which they discover incidents while there's a continuation arc, while there's a continuation of the story. It seems to be that they're trying to resolve like the immediate problem in the immediate episode instead of like dragging it on for several episodes. And I don't know, I kind of have a problem with that. The way that they just kind of thrust characters into the limelight, into the way that they do things. It's bothersome to me. I don't really like it. If you're going to give me a character, let the character develop naturally. Let the show develop naturally. The arcs around the character, they feel more forced than what I'm used to. I don't know. It just feels like for a company that spent $1 billion, dang near, to get these licenses, to create these characters, and to produce this show, does not feel like they're doing a service to the original work. And if you guys watch this show with any regularity, you know that that is a problem that Topher and I share together, where we will criticize a show that does that. We will criticize a show that does not present itself as a respect to the original work. I hate remakes as a general rule. So anything that does that, like the new Nightmare on Elm Street, or the new Friday the 13th, anything like that, and even with the new Hellraiser, I have to see it before I make the judgment. But if they don't stick to the original work, or at least try to continue stories that have already been established, that's typically where I have my problems. So for this show, that seems to be the main sticking point for me. I don't really care what the race of these characters are. Doesn't bother me. I don't know if it's supposed to be monumentous that they're doing this, or that it's supposed to be a big deal. It doesn't feel like a big deal to me. It just feels like a show that has extra characters. Good for them. It's not a big deal. So I don't know. That's my general take on the thing. I don't know, Topher, what do you think? Yeah, I got you. I was getting there.
Now that I am done with Banks getting a hold of me and all of the other stuff in the middle of the show, I don't care. Like I said beforehand, I don't care if there's other races. I don't care if there's other types of people. I don't care.
It's not bothersome.
It doesn't bother me. One, I would kind of wish it would make sense. Like what we're going to talk about later, when you get into the Game of Thrones setting.
Yeah.
Dornish people look different than than whatever. Give it a reason.
Yeah. I mean,
but I don't care. Give me a story that keeps me interested, though.
All right. And that's my biggest gripe. It's not.
Don't Mary Sue your way through the entire damn thing.
Right. It's not really interesting.
Like, oh, look, guys are getting beaten. They look stupid. They're standing there going, ah, and you come in and kill it in 5 seconds. That's
right.
At least have it be trouble.
I've played D&D games like that, and it's super annoying. Right.
How many times did you're looking at the other Lord of the Rings? How many times did Aragorn get his butt kicked?
I mean, but not really though. Like,
right,
like he was always
came out with cuts. He came out. He didn't just fly into a thing.
Right.
And this thing that literally been killing hundreds of people just now.
Right. He didn't superhero his way. I mean, they did, but they didn't. There was obviously plot armor.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, there's plot armor. However, damage people still got hurt.
Yeah, 100%. You felt
it was hard. They lost.
You felt
fights.
As though he was in danger.
They lost fights. They left. They pulled out and went away and said, "Oh crap, we can't do this."
Right.
So,
excuse me. Sorry. It's been a super long day for me, folks. I've been up since about 1:00 in the morning. So I do apologize if I look a little more haggard than I usually do. My age is definitely showing on this episode.
But no, that's been my thing, is make it an interesting story.
Yeah, that's my primary gripe.
This whole
idea
not
that
interesting. Sauron's still so when is this placed? Is this that's now because they were this is the stuff we're basing on the Silmarils and this, that, and the other. So this falls before or after Sauron?
Right. After Sauron takes the ring. But that's what it felt like, right? And I'm like,
because you're like, how? Sauron's still out there. This, that, and the other. Like, he literally got his finger cut off. He's not in physical form.
Right.
If it happens after if you have a Isildur taking the ring and
Aesildur, right.
all of that stuff.
And that's what I'm saying is like, as a general rule, I don't like prequel shows. Even the Winchesters is just full of flaws, and it's like they retcon so much of the show, and I'm like, there are ways to fix it, and you and I've discussed that before, and that's totally fine.
Yeah, but those ways are cheap.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
it's all the dream.
Right.
They lost their memory.
Right. And the MacGuffin, right? Yeah. It's like, they ran into the Time Witch, and it's like, what? No, stop that.
Like I have instead of the Time Witch, it's a Time Bitch.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Totally new.
Yeah, it's totally new. Right.
Never
it's the rhyme time bitch. Right. Okay. Because she has to rap in order to gotta make it. I just feel like Hollywood made $1 million off this stupid idea I just threw out there. Hey, synchronized drinks. That's cool. That's never happened on stream before. That's
well, you know what they say is like if you hang out together, you drink at the same time.
It's true.
Or is that something else?
I don't know.
For women.
Oh, yeah.
I got confused between drinking and that. I'm sorry.
How long has the show been on?
15 minutes. And you're not kicked off
and we're out.
And we're not banned yet.
That'll do it. But yeah, so my primary gripe, as I said, the story's not overly interesting to me. If it would have been set back like 1,000 years, for instance, like in House of the Dragon, I've been all for it. It's
set it up like I don't know, like the First War. Literally just cover the First War,
right? Which would have been super.
Awesome.
Not Battle of the Five Armies, but like prior to that, go back further.
Yeah, and like go back to the fight against Sauron in the beginning, like build up to him taking power, doing all this
right
stuff. Literally that whole thing right there is
wide open.
Yeah,
wide open. You can make, because
then,
that never really got covered, so you could quite literally invent thousands of new characters.
Because and that time we had, it was the forming and all the stuff. Sauron wasn't known to be a bad guy yet.
Right.
Like he was a servant of Melkor, but nobody knew that because he was an Astari. I think he was an Astari, just like Gandalf and all of them. He was
right,
whatever, and that went bad.
Right.
So
Sauron the Black.
So he totally.
I don't know. It's just the white, the gray. I would assume the black is the
purple and yellow.
Right. It's like the Green Lantern rings, right? Is that what we're talking about? The rings of power? Like...
Right. No, but but with all of the stuff that's going on, it just makes sense that you could quite literally cover that, have epic battle scenes, have epic fights, do all of this stuff, and have a story that people, it's like Lord of the Rings. You knew how it was going to end if you were
if you were a fan of the books, you knew how it was going to end. There are people that never read the books that didn't understand the story, which is fine. But it still stood alone.
Right.
Because you didn't know what was going to happen. So cool. You get to experience it on film instead of reading the books like the rest of us nerds.
Oh, well, he gets it, whatever. You can actually track that through all the way with the fall of Isildur and all of that.
Yeah.
Like you can do all of that in a cool series. That
100%.
would justify $1 billion budget.
Right. Now, visually, I would say it's very beautiful. Looks amazing.
My question is could they have pulled it off for a fraction of the cost if they would have used the same technology Disney used?
I mean, I feel like if they just thrown us $1 million, we could have done something with it.
Well, I'm saying because Disney.
I know some thirsty friends that would do some killer special effects for like $50K.
But the what I'm saying was how they did all of the expansive stuff on that one set with the digital backgrounds and all that. Like, you think they could have did the same quality of stuff and not?
Well, I think what's funny about that is some of these sets already existed, and I don't know why they just didn't reuse some of them. Like, give us some familiar locations, right? Make us feel comfortable in the new story.
Well, if it's supposed to be the before the war type, first or before the second war, I don't know.
The whole thing to me felt, I don't know, man. It feels forced, and I don't like it. It feels like they're trying to fill in gaps that don't need to be filled in.
Right.
And like I said, as a general rule, I don't like prequels. And this is part of the reason why, is because you're not really formulating a complete thought with your episodes. You're kind of just shoving everything in there and going, okay, issue resolved, next issue. What?
Right.
Give me some continuity.
It's almost like a monster of the week.
Wow, there's a throwback. But yeah,
well, I mean, that's what Supernatural started off as. The first 2 seasons were just monsters of the week. They had no real carrying over arc.
Well, no, there was still
they had the one meta,
right, the one thread that tied the entire series together.
Right, but it was still just the monster of the week,
which is fine because that was always
that works for them, but it doesn't work in a fantasy setting.
It works on that particular show because that was the single thread that tied it all together.
Right.
We haven't gotten that in Rings of Power, like at all. There's nothing tying it together other than the fact it's Lord of the Rings. That's really it. Oh, it's the Rings of Power. It's the ever looming
I would say
knowledge that something's going to go wrong, but that's not good enough.
I don't think it's. I think it's only Lord of the Rings in name. It's just a random,
like a cash in, because that's what it feels like.
Random fantasy show that literally is just using the name.
It feels like a cash in.
And the articles that popped up and said like they waited until Christopher passed.
Yeah.
To do it because Christopher had blocked them the entire way up until he passed, and then the estate was like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah.
Because he was the only one that was like, "No, this is what, not what."
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what I'm saying is the entire show feels forced. It feels like a cash in. And it's not very interesting. I'm going to continue to watch because I want to see how this progresses. I want to be able to bring you guys the information. And that's kind of our review on it right now. Not impressed. They've got a few episodes to go before, I can call it a wash or to call it a failure. But I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. And let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Seriously. If you guys want some good stuff that doesn't suck, honestly, best place to go for that is Humble Bundle, right? And we're talking about Lord of the Rings. If you guys would like to pick up your copy of the Lord of the Rings, or if you'd like to pick up your copy of the Hobbit trilogy, it's a great place to go. And on top of that, you guys can learn how to do things like coding. You can do things like buy video games, and you get it for like a fraction of the price that you would normally pay in digital form most of the time. Or you can have physical copies mailed to you too. They do that. It's actually pretty incredible. I could go on, honestly, because Humble Bundle is an incredible deal. But I do happen to have in my pocket this amazing cartoon version of Topher. It's the most adorable thing ever, and he does a pretty fantastic job explaining it. So you know what? Take it away, Cartoon Topher.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Humble Bundle sells games, ebook software, and other digital content. Its mission is to support charity while providing awesome content to customers at great prices. They launched in 2010 with a single 2-week Humble Indie Bundle and have grown into a store full of games and bundles, a gaming membership service, a game publisher, and more. Join them and pay what you want for curated bundles of games, media, and software. All proceeds support charity and the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Visit a link on the screen and in the description of the video to support the channel and help the cause.
Button.
Button.
There's a button.
Button. Jesus. We're professionals. We swear, we take a week off and that's it. It's like we forgot how to do everything.
The touch panel is not working at the moment, so like I can't hit that, and I'm stuck back.
Like, It is kind of funny. Like, you guys didn't get to see it because it was a black screen, but watching him scramble for that button was pretty amusing. We need to have like a constant state camera. That's what we need, so they can always see what's going on in the studio. Oh my goodness, I just choked on my own air. Anyways, so speaking of choking, House of the Dragon has dropped, and first few episodes are online right now. You guys check that out, HBO Max. I will say far better than Rings of Power. I have sort of enjoyed it.
Like if you want to learn how to do a fantasy setting where you have multiple races and multiple peoples and whatnot, Game of Thrones, like Martin universe is. Yeah,
George R. Martin does a really good job explaining. Now, he's also a very strange and disgusting person.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But I mean, most fantasy authors are.
Him?
Yeah. Magoo. That's not him. But anyways, I've enjoyed the episodes that I've seen so far. They're doing some cool tie-ins while introducing some newer villains that are credible threats. Like that's the coolness of it, is that it feels credible. You know what's going to happen. You know the story. And I think that's the neatest part about it, is like you already kind of know how this all plays out. But
like,
the story to get there is
gonna be
actually
like
extremely interesting.
2 seasons of build up to a 2-second fight.
I really effing hope not, because that
Like, oh look, this is going to be the main bad guy. This is going to be all of this stuff is going on, and this is happening. Oh, that was really really quick and abrupt. And what happened to all of this prophecy about like whatever?
Yeah.
It's not the same guys running it, is it?
No.
Oh, thank
no, it's different people. Names. But House of the Dragon does what Lord or with Rings of Power fails to do, and it delivers a continuity with each episode. There's an underlying tone, and there's an overarching plot, and it's not hard to figure out what it is. It's not mysterious in any way. It's Targaryen Lord of the Rings, or it's Targaryen freaking Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
and it is, and it plays out that way. So you get to kind of see how the Targaryens came to power, the fights and the battles that they went through to assume control, how they united the kingdoms, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why it's interesting, because it draws upon a very rich lore. It expands upon an existing universe, delivers a decent story. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. I mean, it's like I said, it's basically Game of Thrones in the past.
right.
That's really all it is.
Well, I mean,
with different characters
it's kind
on
of
the throne.
showing that history repeats itself.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what's really cool about it, because I have a feeling when this series concludes, God, I keep doing that. I keep wanting to say House of a Thousand Corpses and House of Cards and all this other. I got so many names running through my brain right now. But it will feel like Game of Thrones will mimic. It'll almost feel like Game of Thrones mimicked House of the Dragon when it's actually the other way around. But it has that feel to it, and I kind of like it. Like it's neat in the way that they present the story, and I've enjoyed it so far. I'm not supremely confident they can keep this momentum going. I'm really not.
Well, like I said, the other one took
took
7 seasons before it went.
And it did too. It cratered so hard. And I mean,
7 to
there's
8
writers and everything else, and the actors that were involved, everybody was tired of it. And Martin was not putting out his book. So it was just basically like, okay, we're just going to tie this off. We're just done.
Martin still hasn't put out
I know.
a book.
It's silly. Like, I don't.
There'll be 2 books to wrap everything up. No, I was like, okay. Like,
Can we have one of them? Just one.
Any time now.
Just one. I'll take a novella at this point. Like, give me something. I'll take an ebook. Like, give me a short story in a freaking horror magazine. I don't care. Like, put it in Playboy. I'll buy an issue. Jesus, give me something. There's a blast from the past, and kids are like, "What's Playboy?" Anyways, yeah. So, House of the Dragon, I like it. I recommend the show. If you guys are fans of Game of Thrones at all, go check the show out. Seriously, it's worth a watch. Make up your own minds, and of course, as always, drop it in the comment section below if you guys like it. We will respond in kind. You kind of know our opinion on it already. If you want to argue, that's what the comment section is for. And I will happily, I'll argue about anything. You drop a picture of a rock and I'll tell you it's a stick. We can have fun with this. I don't care.
Drop it like a
rock. Drop it like a rock. Sorry. You started that. I blame. That was Topher's fault, y'all. Topher's fault. That's Topher's fault. God, we're so ridiculous. This is what happens when we run out of steam, by the way, because he's tired. I'm tired.
And then tomorrow I'm going to be setting up at the street fair here.
I have to get up at
the movies.
I have to get up at the butt crack of dawn.
How does he feel about it?
Don's not really a big fan of getting up in his butt crack. But I don't know. To each their own, I guess. I'm gonna do it anyway. Up at. So yeah, I'm not getting up in. It's up at. I'm sorry. Language is hard. Words are hard right now.
Words are.
It was funny because I called you earlier, like when I was talking to you on the phone, and I told you I was like, I'm going to pick up this stuff, and then I'm going to pick up some words, which is really important because we do a podcast and there's words on it. Hey, we got a first comment in the chat. What's going on over there in the chats? Who's got the chats? Give me a chat.
Let's see. Everything Middle Earth. I certainly know that if I want something from a host that already doesn't like me, then the best thing to do is to threaten them and make demands. Nice one, Galadriel.
I love that it's everything in Middle Earth is the comment we're just talking about. It's
Right.
freaking beautiful. And the Galadriel, that's bravo name dropping. That was awesome. I can appreciate that. And that's the thing. I love Middle Earth. I'm a huge fan. I have the second edition of Lord of the Rings. I have the Hobbit trilogy, the second edition of that. So, but not the Hobbit trilogy. Rather, excuse me, the Fellowship of the Ring trilogy, and I have the Hobbit. So I mistakenly called it the Hobbit trilogy earlier. It's my fault.
Well, I mean, in the movies it was.
Yeah,
but I have all of the Tolkien books.
I don't have Silmarillion yet. I have it on E. I have it on
Many
ebook.
Roads or what?
If I buy that one, and that one in particular, I want to get an original press. I want to get that particular copy because it'll go in my collection. That's what I want. But yeah, it's frustrating to me as a fan to see them kind of butchering and in all the worst way. And it's not even like fun ways that we can debate and have like conversation with, like, oh, you know, this character is a butthead, and like, no, I can't even say that because all the characters are kind of bleh. Like, I don't like any of them. And it's like watching the show The Magicians, and it started to pick up some steam in the second season, thankfully. Like most Netflix shows, it just takes forever to get going. But
well, The Magicians was on TV, and it took that long.
Yeah, it was on Sci-Fi, right?
Yeah, it took that long.
That's right. It was on Sci-Fi. I'm sorry. It was a Sci-Fi show, not a Netflix show. But it's finally picked up steam in the second season, and I'm like, okay, this is actually mildly interesting now. I actually have characters I can root for. But I swear to God, every single time I'm like, okay, this character's pretty cool. They just do the dumbest shit, and I'm like, what? I hate you again. Why are you doing this to me? And I have not a single character on that show that I can reference that I either A, relate to, or B, like. I rooted for the villain because I was like, at least he has some character. And he does.
At least.
Nothing about the way he approaches anything is different than the way he started. Nothing. Like, his character arc is quite literally, this is who I am. I know who I am. I know what I'm doing. Everybody else is like, oh my God, teenage drama, college.
Well, I mean, The Magicians, it was one of the teen shows, like Nancy Drew.
It's abysmal sometimes. Like, the character development is abysmal.
I like Nancy Drew. Like, going along the lines of the teen drama
which is fine.
stuff. Like,
which is fine. And I'm like, I understand why they're having these characters behave this certain way. Mm-hmm. But just from episode to episode, like, some of them have like the most dramatic mood shift and character swings. And I'm like, that's unsustainable for a narrative. You cannot keep doing that.
I'm over here. No, I'm over here. No, I'm over
and
here.
like I said, I'm about halfway through season 2 at this point. I'm like, it's getting better.
Bipolar, the TV show.
Pretty much. And there's a couple of characters that are pretty consistent, but even then, it's like some of the stuff that they do, I just can't. It just bothers it just does. And some of the methods in which they use to handle stuff is super preachy. I'm like, good God, guys, get it together. But it's fine. Like I said, I'm going to continue to watch it. If I don't fully develop a at least for a character that's not the villain by the end of the second season, I'm done. I'm cashing out. I'm like, I'm not going to finish the other 3 seasons of the show. We're just done. It's interesting enough to keep my attention, but that is going to fade very quickly. Like, I binged Lock and Key. It's a great show.
I like that.
It was a good show.
I had a hard time with the last season. Like, not just getting through it. Like, it felt more like a slog than the rest of the seasons. It
did, but I powered through the 3rd season. But overall, super liked the show.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Thought it was a great show. So that one, bingeable. Mm-hmm. It was a bingeable show, and I was like, cool, this is great. Magicians, I'm like, I feel like I'm powering through an episode, not just like yeah. And it's like, the story itself is not bad. It's just the characters are awful. The characters are just awful. These awful characters.
That's something like, to tie back into the Rings of Power.
Right.
The character, like, the writing is just flat. Like, there is no characters.
That's what I'm saying. There's no arc.
Yeah.
or at least no discernible arc. And I'm sure that
I mean, granted, we are in the beginning of the thing, but
right.
give me a character.
Give me something.
Yeah.
Give me anything to cling to keep it interesting. Because right now, I'm not interested, and it will be.
Well, the fact that we went like this all over the place with it.
Yeah, we yo-yoed, and that's again
the sign that we don't. There's
unsustainable narrative. You cannot keep doing that. So, and we're 2 episodes in or 3. I think we're 2. I think it's 2, or is it 1? Is it the first episode?
No, they released 2, and then like the third one came out this week, I think.
Okay, I haven't watched the third one yet. I know I've watched 2, so I must not have watched the third. Okay, so like we're 3 episodes in. Like I said, I'll continue to watch because that's part of our job.
Well, that and they're like 2-hour episodes.
Yeah, and again, it kind of just feels like a slog. And
it's like, great, I'm going to watch all of the movies again.
Right.
Every week.
And it's so frustrating because it was a promising series with an absolutely incredible.
I was excited for it.
Yeah.
And
then they started pooping on us. But anyways, so I said back to House of the Dragon.
We started releasing stuff about, oh, you're gonna find Sauron sexy. Like, why?
First of all, don't get out of my head, Spoonbender. Second of all, but yeah, just to tie it back to House of the Dragon. There are 2 competing fantasy shows going on right now. One of them is worth a damn. The other one, if you like it, great. If you don't, I understand completely. Yeah. Anyways,
we can get canceled.
We can?
Yeah.
For what?
Make hats that say "Make Hollywood Great Again."
Oh, we could. Yeah, that would just be. There goes our affiliate status. There goes our partnership. We're done. See ya. It's been great, folks. But yeah, that's, I don't know. It's just kind of the way I look at things. If you guys would like to look at things,
I know how to make it work, but we won't get like they couldn't figure out how to cancel us. If it was pink and had like pride flags on it and all that, then we can.
No, I feel like they would just be like, "No, you're co-opting," and they would just cancel.
Well, no, it works. They co-opt all the time.
Yeah, they do. We can't. We're not allowed. We are straight white men. We can't. Well, we are straight-ish white men.
Straight-ish white men.
Definitely white. Look at. You see this? Look, I cast it. Look, that's the shadow. Like that. That's how white I am. Anyways, that's why
I know it's dangerous when we're tired because I just go off on.
Yeah, we're on like the worst tangents imaginable right now. I get to somewhere in somebody's basement, somebody's screaming at us, and I feel like it's coming. If you guys would like to scream at us online, you can find us on Twitter and Twitch right over here. So right here on Twitter, that's me. So if you guys would like to yell at me online, that's where I'm available. So I'm always down to spar with the verbals. I haven't caught a ban in a while, so this could be fun. So anyways, if you guys would like other fun stuff, speaking of fun, I feel like this is important because we are a fun-loving, wonderful.
When we have energy.
Yeah, we are a fun-loving group. We love the fun. And the fun loves us. In fact, the fun loves us so much that we have to express it somehow. And you know what? I think clothing and like can koozies and mouse pads and I think that's like the best way to do it, right? Like that's a universal sign of expression is the clothing that you wear. And if you'd like to get your hands on some kick-ass clothing designed by people like Yum and people like Hamwa, then you guys should go to tshirtmix.com. There you will be able to find all of the licensed Geek Public Radio merchandise. And you can find some really cool shirts that we designed. My personal favorite is the I Heard Shit shirt, referencing, of course, the infamous Johnny Depp trial. You guys should go check that out at tshirtmix.com. I could go on about all the cool designs that we have, but once again, in my pocket, I have a beautiful, lovely, and amazing tiny little representation of Topher. That is the most adorable thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. And I feel like he could probably do a better job explaining this to me. If you quit looking at me like that. Jesus Christ. You know what? Play the cartoon.
And now a word from our sponsor.
Need your fix for fun shirts and things? The perfect place to get geeky fun t-shirts and other merchandise, including tumblers, baseball caps, and so much more, is tshirtmix.com. Hundreds of designs you can choose from, as well as being the home of Geek Public Radio merch store. Come get our faces on your threads, or just grab one of the several funny designs that we have available. Just go to tshirtmix.com and check out all the fun. More designs are added daily. That's tshirtmix.com for all your novelty tees. Have fun, look around, and grab some awesome t-shirts.
That's right. You tell them, Cartoon Topher. You tell them all about the awesome t-shirt designs at tshirtmix.com. What?
I hit the button.
Yay! We just have a black screen for 30 minutes. It's the best day ever.
What'd be funny is like that's what they choose for the thumbnail. Until I can get the new one put up there. Like the thumbnail is just a blank
Just
screen.
the blank screen is like, this is the greatest show.
I might just put up a blank screen. You're like, yeah.
It's the blackout days. That's what we're doing. So you know what? Actually, that would be really good for our thumbnail because it is representative of the Dark Knight. Because he thrives in shadow. He thrives in the darkness. We're talking, of course, about Batman. And if you guys don't know about Batman, then I don't really know why you're watching Geek Public Radio. Like, I would just assume that everybody who watches this knows who Batman is. Not my favorite superhero, but he's still a pretty cool character. And there are some new images that have been leaked from Batman 2, starring Robert Pattinson. I thought the Batman, I thought he did a really electric boogaloo. I thought he did a pretty great job in the Batman. So I'm excited to see what they do with the Batman 2. Not really sure what the title's called. We're just going to call it The Dark Knight Rises again because I think that's funny. But did I ever tell you? So, we're in the theater. Jeff, myself, and my ex were all sitting in the theater when Dark Knight Rises come out, and everybody like the lights dim down, and then the title screen starts, and everybody's super quiet, right? And it shows the image on the screen of The Dark Knight Rises, right? Just like the title comes up, it's Dark Knight Rises. You could hear a pin drop in that theater, and I just looked over at Jeff, and as loud as I could without being obnoxious, which for me is ridiculous because my voice just carries. I just looked at Jeff and I was like, my Dark Knight's rising. And Jeff starts busting out laughing, this stupid giggle. And of course, the theater starts laughing. I don't know if they're laughing at my joke or if they're laughing at Jeff laughing, but either way, it was great. Made the whole theater bust out laughing. It was pretty fantastic. Anyways, that's my Dark Knight Rising story. Anyways, Topher.
I was trying to see if I could find
the image.
The images. But
I'm not sure. So I think they pulled them. I'm not 100% sure they're actually in or online. I think they managed to copyright pull the images. So like you'd have to like scour to find them because I was looking for it earlier and I couldn't find it. But the suit looks really cool from everybody that was talking about it online. The suit looks neat. Good morning. I can't see what the name is.
I'm going to be
Mabonga.
Yeah. They are from Uganda.
Hell yeah.
Uganda.
Well, welcome to the show. Greetings from America. Thank you so much for tuning in from Uganda. We really appreciate it. That's awesome. I think that's pretty cool personally.
It's Uganda,
fans around the world, baby. What's that?
Uganda, Kampala.
Kampala?
I guess I'm butchering the crap.
Oh, I'm sure you are. And I'm not doing any better, I'm sure. But hey, greetings to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, smash the subscribe button, all that good stuff, man. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. But yeah, talking about the Batman and the new suit images, people have seemed to really like it. Robert Pattinson has spoken on the subject a little bit. He said that he is very excited to be working on the new film.
I know that he kind of teased
the
fact that they're going to focus on the Court of Owls,
which let's go. Like I am just let's go because it's awesome. It's such a great arc.
They did that in Gotham.
Yes,
with the dealing with the Court of Owls
yes.
and all the other stuff. So I mean, it literally would make sense to approach it in the other.
Yes, from the other side with Batman being all grown up.
Yeah.
And that's like I said, I'm really excited about the Batman 2. I think it's going to be another fine flick. And most of the Batman movies do just fine, right? Mm-hmm. They do great.
People naysay it, and then when they watch it, like, yeah, that wasn't.
That was pretty good. And I was skeptical about Robert Pattinson, but that was the thing. I have seen him in things other than Twilight, and he is a good actor. That's the thing.
I like Lighthouse. Or the Lighthouse.
I thought he did really good.
Lovecraftian.
Yeah, but still, he is a good actor. That's the thing. Kristen Stewart's the one I think is terrible. Mm-hmm. Although I watched a movie with her in it recently, and for once I saw her range, and I was like, oh my God, she has more than one expression on her face. This is incredible. It's amazing.
like the T-shirt that has like just the one picture across, like happy, sad,
Right,
cheerful.
like it's ridiculous. Like the many faces of Vader, right? Like the shirt that I had, the many faces of Vader. Like literally, that you could do that with Kristen Stewart. Like just the blank, staring off expression, where it's like even when she was like this is one of my favorite scenes is that even at the very end of whatever Twilight, right when she's like yelling at Jacob and that whole scene. And I've watched it one time and I remember this so vividly because I remember laughing because there was no expression on her face. She's screaming, but there's no expression.
How dare you?
I mean, just the same blank look. Like it was the same look she gave when she told Edward she was going to marry him. I'm going to marry you, baby. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. It was the same expression. And I'm like, what? God, girl, blink. Something. Jesus, give me something. Anyways, but yeah, Robert Pattinson reprising his role for Batman 2. Obviously, we're very excited about that. And the new images from what people are saying looks pretty cool. Looks like they've made some tweaks to the suit.
I was hoping that we could have pulled them up, but
yeah,
they were washing like stuff that I knew was from
the
last or the first one. So I didn't want to like throw them up.
But that's good. We've got costume and set design coming out for the show or for the movie. So it's moving right along. It's great news for Batman fans. It's great news for DC fans like myself because I am a DC boy. I like Marvel. I'm a geek. I like it all.
Right.
But I am a DC fan through and through. And so for a new Batman movie to be coming out, I'm super excited about it. I'm also really trying to figure out how they're going to work with Flashpoint. I've figured out how they're going to do this movie.
We've seen it on TV.
It's there. We just don't know how they're going to handle it.
So we got Flashpoint and Crisis on Many Earths, and
lots of stuff coming out. So we'll
like all of that stuff was already done.
Yeah,
by the CW series.
Yeah, well, they got the movie Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So that's that with Ezra Miller, and I don't know how they're gonna. I mean, there's probably gonna be like some big message at the very beginning. It says, "Listen, like, we were already done with this movie. Like, we do not condone or express." But it's whatever. It's sad to see that happen to somebody. He's clearly got stuff. There are clear things wrong with them, and they need help. That's genuinely what's happening here. And until they get that help, that's what it's going to be. And it doesn't excuse anything that they've done. Doesn't excuse anything that they're going to do. It's just they need some help, and hopefully sitting in the tank for a little while will clear up their mind. Hopefully. And maybe get some contrition from them as well. But anyways, I digress just a little bit because we're tired, and that's what we do. Last thing we're going to talk about though is for the Fallout fans. Like I said, wait 5 minutes, subject will change. I said it at the beginning of the show. For you Fallout fans out there, obviously the TV show's moving right along. That's good news. Don't have any more images from that, but I was going to talk a little bit about this Tuesday on the 13th. Finally, after a year and some change of teasing, we're going to get Expeditions to the Pit. So we'll actually get our first look at it. The beta tests have come back. There's some mixed reviews. Most people are generally in favor of it. They like it. They like the way that changes the system around. It gives a purpose to some of the fetch quests. It allows you to go to more locations, explore new parts of the wasteland. And because it's a prequel setting, we get to see what the pit looks like before Fallout 3. Yeah. So we actually get to see what it was. It kind of what led to the ruinous events of that moment. So it's not, I don't think you're going to be fixing anything. You're not going to be saving anyone. I mean, I'm sure there'll be some quest type missions or just some missions that'll have you be doing stuff like that. But
or the people that you help or whatever ends up being the ones in the,
right. And I'm really hoping that they give some nods to the future of the pit. I'm really hoping that's something that happens.
Like
I wait with not bated breath because I know better that it's Bethesda.
Like
it's Fallout
literally
76.
they wanted to do it right as you're helping get everything settled in the pit and this, that, and the other. Like the people you help end up becoming the people that you fight
right later on in Fallout 3. Yeah, that'd be great. Like I would love that. It would be super cool.
That would be cool.
I'd be super into that. So yeah, so the 13th, we'll be getting our Expeditions to the Pit. It's gonna be a big update. So make sure that you set your particular console or PC to accept that update, download it, get on there, get to play it as soon as possible. My words are just blah 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 right now.
So speaking of new things coming out, it's not really new, but it is new. World of Warcraft Classic launches Wrath of the Lich King Classic on the 26th. They've did that one, so it's not like they
Right.
can't mess it up. I mean,
Hold on. No, I gotta get the.
well, no, like we already know the content, so they can't like make it worse.
I mean, that's true.
You know, I mean, it's not like they're reforging Warcraft 3 or anything.
It's not like they're remaking Lord of the Rings. Boom, cheap shot.
So we have Wrath coming on the 26th of this month, and then in December they have Dragonflight dropping.
Dragonflight actually looks really cool. I'm kind of excited for that one. It actually does
They're
look pretty
retooling again the thing, so you can literally make a crafting character. Like your whole idea, like I want to play and actually feed into the economy and do that type of stuff. Like, okay, I want to be
I just want to be a smith. I don't want to go adventuring.
Like an armor smith. And then you just sit there and literally you can raise levels.
It's in my last name. That's what I do. I'm a builder. But yeah, so it's some exciting stuff coming down the road. So if you're a fan of WoW, you have Wrath of the Lich King coming out, Dragonflight, and then also, of course, like I said, Fallout 76 drops the pit this Tuesday. So make sure you guys are signed in, get your downloads done, and get your updates installed. I
think New World dropped a patch that gave people great swords.
Nice. I'll have to pick back up New World again because I unsubscribed and I was like,
anime style, like giant
Katsume.
Final Fantasy great swords,
like a Sephiroth sword.
Yeah. They've been adding some stuff and they're trying to revitalize and
good deal.
And whatnot. So
all right, so a lot of stuff to look forward to. We've covered quite a bit. Talked about the new game, Alterium. We've talked about Fallout. We also talked about Batman, Rings of Power, House of the Dragon. If you guys have any comments or anything like that, man, drop down in the comment section below. Start an argument with somebody on the internet. That's what the internet's for, right? That's the best thing about the internet is you can argue with a complete stranger about absolutely nothing that matters.
They made a whole song.
Not recommended. Not recommended.
Well, I mean, we advertised on it, so I mean,
yeah. So hi, all of our people from that particular site. Thank you so much for tuning in. We super appreciate you guys. But before we take off, man, you guys have been an excellent audience. We very much appreciate our geek family everywhere from every country around the world. You guys are always welcome to join us in the chat room, in our comment section. Drop us a line, follow our socials down below and up above. You guys are amazing as always. I thank you so much for being a part of our show. And if you guys have anything that you would like to know or request, or even just something that you'd like us to talk about, feel free to reach out to us on those social media pages. Make sure you like the show. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you tell your friends, share it out. We have to beat YouTube, but guys, that's our entire mission. I don't even care. Once we get to the point where I want to be, we can be done. We can be done together. All of us together. We've done it. And let's show them that the little guy can win too.
And remember to subscribe, because 90 or 93% of our views come from people who aren't subscribed.
Right.
So help us out.
Subscribe. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel. That is like the number one thing. Even if you don't like it, man, even if you don't like the show, do me a favor, subscribe. Right. Like I would love to get my goal for the end of the year is to get 2,000 subscribers. Like that's where we're at. I feel like that's a perfectly obtainable goal. I feel like that is perfectly within the realm of reason. We exploded this last year, and it is thanks to everyone who has reached out, who has shared, who has liked, and done all of those things. You have helped us grow, and I cannot stress enough how appreciative we are for that. We've hit several milestones as a podcast, with our listenership, with our viewership, and that's all thanks to you guys. Like we do the things that we do because it's entertaining to us. And it happens to be entertaining for a lot of you as well. So if you do like it, man, show us your love. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it to your friends. Let them know, hey, there's these two old idiots that just sit there and babble about games and go off on wicked tangents and make stupid jokes. Just tell them that's exactly what the show is. I don't make any bones about it. That's wicked exactly what we do. Bro. What's that?
Wicked tangents. Bro.
Wicked tangents, bro. That's what we do in pale and pathetic Bostonian accents, like Massachusetts. But as always, guys, thank you so very much for tuning in. I'm Crazy Chris.
I'm Topher.
That's going to do it for today's show. Join us next week right here on Geek Public Radio. Peace.
You've been listening to the GPR podcast, where two old guys talk about old. Talk about new games, movies, most things geeky, and try not to poop in their diapers while they're talking. Thanks for listening to the show. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on Twitter at Free Geek Radio, on Facebook and Instagram at Geek Public Radio, and the website geekpublicradio.com. We'll see you next time.